Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Please welcome Dr. Eugene M. Deloach for opening remarks.
Good evening. It is my distinct pleasure on behalf of Career Communications Group, Inc., the council, members of the Council of Deans of Historically Black Colleges and Universities, all of our fantastic, committed corporate friends, and those of representing the various levels of service from our government at the national level, the state, and the local levels. To welcome you to the 8th Annual Black Engineer of the Year Awards. This program this year is a test of your resolve and our commitment to do the kinds of things that we all understand that must be done if we're going to continue our leadership and our strength as a contributor to the nations of man. We have a very important task which we're about here, and we can understand that blizzard, earthquake, mudslides, floods, winds cannot stop it. This room is a testimony of it, and you are definitely committed to that issue, as we can see. While we have in this audience a very, very key group of distinguished persons here today, I want to particularly mention the commitment that we at the Historically Black Colleges and Universities are beginning to feel from an agency that prior to now had seemingly not understood who we were. That is the Department of Energy, and I want to say that we are completely proud to have with us this evening the Secretary of that department, Mrs. Hazel O'Leary. We want to thank you all for coming, and we want to thank you for your commitment, and have a great evening. Dinner is served.
His Honor, the Mayor of Baltimore, the Honorable Kurt Schmoke.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please excuse this brief delay, but I wanted to come by because I'm so proud to have this annual Black Engineers Award Conference here in the city of Baltimore. As you may know, we refer to our town as the city that reads. When you go out and look on the benches, on the buses, pretty much any place where I could stick a stencil, we put the slogan that this is the city that reads, because we recognize that in order for our young people to compete in the economy of the 90s and in the next century, we have to raise the levels of literacy for them and really hold them to a very high standard of educational achievement. As many of you may know, those who have been to our city before, years and years ago, the largest private employer in our city was the Bethlehem Steel Corporation, Sparrows Point plant. Today, the largest private employer is the Johns Hopkins University and Health System. It's a very different type of employment, but it does indicate that we have many jobs coming into our community, but they demand a high level of literacy. And so that is why we are so very, very proud of Career Communications, of Tyrone Taborn, of many of the people who are here tonight who are residents of our city, that they are helping us to achieve the goal of making this the city that reads. This is a great banquet, a great awards dinner, and I wanted to come by as the mayor, not only to thank you, but also to encourage you to spend as much money as you can while you're here in our city. I do appreciate it. It makes us proud to have this conference here, particularly during Black History Month, when we honor so many achievements of the past. We inspire the young people of today, and we look forward with confidence to a great and glorious future. Thank you all very much, and please return to Baltimore.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressman Kwaise Mfume.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and good evening. On behalf of the 40-member Congressional Black Caucus, I am honored and proud this evening to join you here in celebration of this annual and august occasion, to extend greetings, but even more so to extend a challenge that you continue to do all that you can do, not only in making this a better society, but in making it an opportunity society, that individuals who are 4, 5, and 6 years of age tonight will one day and some way be able to sit in your seats and to have before them the sort of bright futures that so many of you enjoy. My thanks to Tyrone Taborn, someone who works year after year over and over again, not just to make this conference a success, but to make black engineers successful. My thanks to he and his wife, Jean, for continuing to follow this dream. A special thanks, and I think it's proper also to salute all of those corporate sponsors who are here tonight, who, through the simple eloquence of their example, challenge others throughout corporate America to do more and to be more and to give more and to go further when it comes to creating opportunities for African ancestral Americans to be able to take advantage of all the opportunities that exist in this world as it relates to science. This past Monday, I flew from Huntsville, Alabama with Dan Golden, the head of NASA, and talked about the unlimitedness of science and engineering and all the possibilities that exist. But we talked also about the greater challenge of preparing young men and young women to step up and to assume the leadership roles, to make the difference, to be the discoverers, if you will, of the discoveries, and to make this world and this universe come closer together by doing all they can in their own respective fields. And so my thanks to all of you, those of you who are engineers and those of you who soon will be, to the many students who have come here, and to all others. On behalf of this city and indeed on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus, we bid you welcome. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the 8th anniversary banquet of the Black Engineer of the Year Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, our MC for tonight is the critically acclaimed and Emmy Award-winning actor of television, stage, and screen, most recently noted for his brilliant portrayal of Elijah Muhammad in the epic Malcolm X. Help me welcome, please, Mr. Al Freeman, Jr.
Thank you. Thank you and good evening. It's really good to be here. Better to be here than out there. These old bones, I believe, cannot stand too much more of this kind of weather. As you get older, you know, those kinds of things affect you. George Burns said he knew he was getting old when everything in his body ached, and what didn't ache didn't work. So there's something for you engineers to work on there a little bit. There are more than 2,000 of us here in this room tonight. People committed and dedicated to a better future for ourselves and for our children. This, I believe, is a visible success, and I'm very, very pleased to be a part of it. With me tonight to help introduce our winners is the lovely co-host of Screen Scene on the Black Entertainment Television Network, Miss Angela Stribling.
Thank you. And we also have a very special guest to help us introduce tonight's winners. She is a chemical engineer, a medical doctor, a biomedical researcher, an entrepreneur whose company is building ways to move advanced technologies into underserved communities around the world. And she is the first African-American woman to soar into space as a NASA astronaut. Let's give a very warm welcome to Dr. Mae Jemison.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here tonight because it's programs like this that mark the excellence of the African American tradition in the sciences. Every group of people in this world have always been involved in the sciences and in engineering, and this is a recognition of it. And I'm very excited about all of the winners and the program that you'll hear about tonight.
Thank you. Before we begin the awards ceremony, let's take a moment to talk about the theme of this year's conference, America's Diverse Future. We hear the word diversity a lot these days in discussions about our society, our schools, our businesses. The dictionary lists difference, variety, multiplicity as definitions. But those words don't really cover diversity in its new sense, and tonight we're going to look for a fuller definition.
We've all heard the demographic facts, the kinds of people making up the United States of our diverse future. Not counting immigration, the African American population will grow by 13% this decade, the Hispanic population by 35%, and the Asian population by 26%.
By the turn of the century, more than 2/3 of entry-level workers will be female, Black, Hispanic, Asian. Those groups will also make up more than 60% of all workers at all levels. And along with immigrants, these groups will make up more than 3/4 of America's entry-level technical workers. The engineers and scientists and technology professionals who will determine our leadership in key technologies. Think of that, 3/4. This will be an overwhelming change, a revolution in the workplace.
The coming diversity is already appearing. For example, non-Hispanic white men are a shrinking minority in our workforce. Just 43% of all workers today. They will fall to 38% by the year 2005. Clearly, given these trends, diversity is an important element in our future. But why is diversity important today? What does it mean for our companies, for our economy, for our children? And how can we tell if a company truly values diversity?
First off, diversity is very different from the equal opportunity and affirmative action programs of the last few decades. Why? Because these coming demographic changes will occur no matter what. Nothing can alter what will happen. No laws or actions by individuals, companies, or governments. In fact, the children who will populate our diverse future have already been born, and many of them are already in school. The workplaces of the future will look very different indeed from those of today. It is inevitable.
So, as employment managers look into the future and ask where their workers will come from, they are left with only one answer. They will come from America's increasingly diverse population. And that answer forces them to do certain things today to get ready for tomorrow.
Employment managers must hire from America's diverse population now to be ready for the increasing wave later. The benefits are clear. Hiring a diverse workforce today makes it more likely that the future job applicants will want to work there. After all, few people want to be the first of their race or color or gender in a given position. Career competition today is tough enough without the added burdens of being a pioneer. Here's how companies can benefit. It will help a lot if applicants are interviewed by people who look like them. It will also help if they see a diverse workforce already in place. And if a company is diverse at senior levels, newcomers will feel there's real opportunity here and will be willing to work hard to earn advancement.
Some companies are taking advantage today of their diverse workforces. Experts in the field estimate that roughly 1/2 of Fortune 500 companies already employ a person responsible for diversity. These companies are attracting and hiring better people. They're marketing better products and services with wider appeal, and they're growing strongly into our diverse future.
Other companies lag behind because they don't know about the future, or they don't want to believe what they've been told, or they worry about broadening their workforce. They're worried that broadening their workforce will be too costly or too difficult, or it will stir up resentment in their current workforce. These companies will pay later, of course, because they will be playing catch-up for years to come.
Some companies are famous already for their efforts. Successful companies like Mobil, Motorola, Xerox, Goodyear, Procter & Gamble, Merck, Levi Strauss, Lotus, Corning, and Gannett all have established state-of-the-art programs to diversify their workforces. Other companies are leading the way as well, including many represented here tonight. We will hear of their successful programs as we proceed. But first, before we begin announcing the awards, let's welcome the previous winners of Black Engineer of the Year awards in all categories. I know quite a few of them here tonight. I'd like them all to stand so we can acknowledge them. Would you stand, please?
You know, that's one of the wonderful things about this conference. Year after year, people who've been honored here return to help honor the next group of high achievers. That is the kind of dedication that keeps the word going out all around the country that our community is strong and growing.
We have a very special guest tonight. Jelani Ellington is a high school student at the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute and a member of Mathematics, Engineering, and Science Achievement, MESA. Let's give a warm greeting to Jelani Ellington. Jelani.
This conference and our whole community owe a great tale to the group I'd like to present. They work every day on the problems we've heard discussed, finding answers, filling the pipelines with talented young engineers, and building lasting ties from our community to the corporate world. They work to make sure that high school students like me have the best opportunity possible to study and learn. They are the Council of Engineering Deans of the historically Black colleges and universities, and I'd like them to come out on stage as I read their names. Dr. J. Willard Tulliver of Florida A&M and Florida State University in Tallahassee. Dr. M. Lucius Walker, Jr. of Howard University in Washington, D.C.
There he is.
Dr. Eugene D. Loach of Morgan State University here in Baltimore. Dr. John Foster of Prairie View A&M University in Prairie View, Texas. Dr. Harold L. Martin, Sr. of North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro. Dr. Thomas Henderson of Southern University at Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Dr. Sheikh Jelani of Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. Bad weather prevented two deans from being here with us tonight. They are Dr. Adiyinka Adiyaga of Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia. And Dr. Decatur Rogers of Tennessee State University in Nashville. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a hand to the host of the conference, the Council of Engineering Deans of the historically Black colleges and universities.
Thanks, Jelani. And good luck. Your future really looks bright with the kind of commitment you have already shown, my boy.
Now let's get to what we've all been waiting for, the Black Engineer of the Year Awards. Al?
Yes, we want to congratulate all of you who have really struggled through the winter wonderland out there, all the sleet and snow and the freezing rain to be with us, and we really are very pleased that you are here. We ask your indulgence about some of the changes we've had to make to accommodate those who could not be with us tonight, and we thank you for that. Hiring, training, and compensating a professional in today's corporate environment can cost a whopping $100,000 or more in the first year alone. Managers who make unconventional, diverse hiring choices are taking a risk, and that's where affirmative action officers prove their worth. They work to make sure the manager's diverse choices are less risky and more successful. With us tonight to present the award for affirmative action is the Vice President of Corporate Engineering at Abbott Laboratories, Daniel Strubble.
Opening the doors of opportunity to everyone is what affirmative action is all about. And clearly, Rosalind Wesley is a committed professional in that endeavor. A staffing manager at Motorola in Arlington Heights, Illinois, Wesley is responsible for domestic and international recruitment and the selection policies, practices, and related issues.
As part of her many accomplishments, Wesley put together the first managing diversity and development training strategy for Motorola managers that includes participation from the president throughout all management levels.
And for her many civic and community efforts, she has been honored by President Jimmy Carter and President George Bush. Please welcome Rosalind Wesley.
Good evening, and thank you for this prestigious award. It is my passionate belief that the commitment for opportunity for all goes beyond mere responsibility. There must be an investment of time, of energy, and yes, emotion to effect change on any level in society today. And in a world where technology is driving the pace of change, I have tried to focus on balancing concern for what and how, for concern with who, the people. I thank the Motorola team for their unswerving commitment, my husband, Pete Wesley, my mother, Mrs. Inez Green, and my darling children, Petey and Tiffany, for their unconditional devotion. Thank you.
You know, a major part... Sorry. You first, my darling.
There's a little echo here, but anyway, we're going to try this. A major part of what we're doing here tonight is building and maintaining a community. Take a look around the room. Each year, the community that comes to share this celebration grows. Each year, more and more people take the values we share back to their communities. And year after year, more and more students are inspired to excellence by this community and by its shared goals, its common standards, by the respect we show its members. To present the award for community service, we have Dr. Lydia Thomas, the Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Center for Environment, Resources, and Space at the MITRE Corporation. Dr. Thomas?
Thank you very much. Michael Jenkins is a member of our technical staff at the MITRE Corporation in McLean, Virginia. His department supports the Federal Aviation Administration's National Aerospace System Communications Network. But it is for his years of community involvement that we honor him tonight. His current commitments alone include more than most of us try in a lifetime.
Today, Jenkins is the president of the Metropolitan Consortium for Minority Engineers. He serves as a member of MITRE's Washington Group Affirmative Action Advisory Committee and the Engineers for Education program. And he works as a math and science liaison for MITRE's outreach program with Hart Junior High School. Please welcome Michael Jenkins.
Thank you, and good evening. I would like to thank the Career Communications Group for this award. In our increasingly technology-based society, the importance of science and engineering must be clearly conveyed in our classrooms and the extended community. I would like to thank the MITRE Corporation, friends, family, and especially my mother and father for supporting my efforts to reach out and to stimulate our youth. Thank you.
Ultimately, everything we do here tonight is for the benefit of the young, today's students and tomorrow's workforce. We must prepare them, and they must prepare themselves for the challenges of our diverse future. To present the Student Leadership Award, please welcome Dr. Freeman Rabowski, the president of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and the founder of the nationally recognized Meyerhouse Foundation. Dr. Rabowski.
Thank you. Earlier, we met Jelani Ellington from the local MESA program. Well, Anika Thompson is living proof that MESA works. Today, she is a freshman engineering student at North Carolina A&T University in Greensboro.
But while she was a high school student in nearby Columbia and a participant of MESA, Thompson developed a software program for Macintosh computers that has been widely accepted by schools that are involved in MESA. Her program handles student record keeping, work group activities, and information about events.
It also serves as a tracking and development system to assess student skills and potential. And I should add for the administrators in the audience that Anika is selling the program for $95 per copy to raise money for college. Yes. Let's welcome Anika Thompson.
Thank you for this prestigious award. I would like to thank my father for the sharing of his knowledge, Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, North Carolina A&T State University, and MESA. However, this award really belongs to my mother, who has supported me throughout my endeavors in life. Thank you, Mom.
Good students like Anika Thompson develop because they are exposed to good teachers. America is a world leader in that competitive arena. The many students from around the world who come here to study are proof that we have some of the best teachers in the world. To present the award for higher education at the college level to one of America's best teachers, the Vice President of External Affairs at Atlantic Electric, Ernest Jolly.
Thank you. Dr. Neville Parker knows the value of America's diversity firsthand. The Herbert Kaiser Professor of Civil Engineering at the City College of New York, Parker has taught highly regarded courses here and in Africa. He has served as mentor to many students and has long been a tireless champion of minority involvement in technology.
As director of the National Science Foundation's research careers for minority scholars, for example, Parker is involved in a college-wide effort to increase the number of minorities entering research careers in science, engineering, and math.
He has also directed the Institute for Transportation Systems, a multidisciplinary inter-college effort to address transportation issues that affect economic and social life of the city, state, and the region. Please help me welcome Dr. Neville Parker.
On behalf of all the students who have ultimately taught me, on behalf of colleagues whom I am privileged to represent, I accept this award with a pledge to continue my efforts to globalize engineering education of Black people for the challenge of the 21st century. Thank you very much.
After getting a thorough education and passing the rigorous tests that lead to graduation, young engineers move into their first jobs with high hopes. Some distinguish themselves early, adding to their company's diverse competitiveness nationally and globally. To present the first award for Most Promising Engineer, please welcome the highest-ranking officer in the U.S. Navy, the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Frank B. Kelso II.
Thank you, sir. It's very good to be back.
Before we bring out the next winner, we want to take a short moment here to make an important presentation. Making that presentation is Dr. Earl Richardson, President of Morgan State University and President of the National Association for Equal Opportunity, which represents America's historically Black colleges.
Dr. Richardson.
Admiral Kelso, for years you have promoted in the United States Navy the kinds of opportunity for every American that all of us come here each February to support. And as we have seen many times on this stage, your support has paid great dividends for our community, our country, and the Navy. And in honor of your many efforts, it is my pleasure to present to you this afternoon this very special award. Congratulations and thank you so very much for a job well done.
Thank you very much, Doctor. This is a wonderful honor indeed. It is not one I'm sure I deserve, but I humbly accept it on behalf of the roughly 500,000 young men and women I am privileged to lead in the U.S. Navy. This is the third consecutive year you've extended me an opportunity to participate in this unique event. Each time I've made it a priority to attend because I share your commitment to developing a truly diverse corps of scientists and engineers to lead our nation into the 21st century. Speaking as a naval officer, I can assure you that our armed forces, even as we grow smaller, will become only more technologically oriented in the days ahead. We need people with the skills required to operate in this challenging environment, and we want to draw these individuals from every background and community of this country. So we gain tangible benefits from the activities that go on here, but the ultimate value of the Black Engineer of the Year Conference, of course, goes beyond Navy recruiting. Whether the young men and women we're honoring tonight serve in our military, other sectors of government, or in private industry, they are helping to build a stronger, more vital America, and that makes us all winners. So we in the Navy are proud to play a role in what we see as particularly worthy and noble effort. And on a more personal note, I'd like to say that I can think of few awards I've received over the course of my career which are as meaningful as this one. Thank you very much.
We are honored that you join us each year to present awards like Most Promising Engineer.
Thank you. Marcus Shute has made a name for himself at a young age. A member of the technical staff at AT&T Bell Labs in Narcos, Georgia, Shute designs optical fiber systems used in military applications such as fiber optic guided vehicles. Discoveries he made helped develop the tactical fiber optic cable assembly used in the Patriot missile system that served us so well during Desert Storm.
In his spare time, the Tennessee State graduate owns and operates 2 companies, is on track for a doctorate at Georgia Tech, and tutors young students.
With energy and commitment like that, I can't believe he will not achieve his lifelong dream of becoming a NASA mission specialist. Let's give a round of applause to Marcus Shute.
It is truly an honor for me to accept this prestigious award. I'd like to thank God for blessing me with the abilities and opportunities that I have. I'd also like to thank my family and all of my friends for their love, encouragement, and support, especially my mother, Elizabeth, my wife, Karen, my brother, David, my son, Marcus Jr., my nephew, Jermaine, and I'd also like to thank and acknowledge Tennessee State University, MIT, Georgia Tech, and AT&T Bell Laboratories for preparing me and providing many opportunities for success. Thank you.
As in years past, so many promising engineers came forward that we found we had to give out 2 awards. To present the second one, please welcome Stephen Dorfman, Senior Vice President of Hughes Aircraft Company and President of Hughes Telecommunications and Space Sector. Mr. Dorfman.
Hughes Aircraft Company is the world leader in the production of satellites, and Melissa Young is one of the reasons. As a member of the technical staff at Hughes' Los Angeles facility, she designs and oversees the fabrication, test, and operation of microwave filters for a variety of commercial and government satellites and for research projects.
Another of her many responsibilities is to determine whether the quality and performance of critical satellite hardware meets Hughes and the government's high standards. This is an unusually high-level responsibility for so young an engineer.
But Melissa Young proved early on that she was on the fast track in life. She received a full 4-year scholarship to Morgan State University here in Baltimore when she was only 16 years old. And I'm especially pleased that Hughes is already receiving the benefits from our Morgan State Hughes Partnership Program with an outstanding engineer like Melissa. Please join me in welcoming Melissa Young to the podium.
First, I give honor to God, my family, my fiance, and my friends. I'm very proud to receive this award, and I'm thankful to the many Hughes employees and classmates at Cornell and Morgan State universities who have supported, thank you, who have supported and nurtured my career as an electrical engineer. To the students, just last year I sat where you are, and I cannot stress enough the importance of taking advantage of all educational opportunities. Through dedication, perseverance, and hard work, success is well within your grasp. It's up to you to reach for it. Thank you.
As pure role models, black entrepreneurs cannot be bettered. The example set by successful business owners, that with preparation, diligence, and a good idea, you can control your life, is an example for children need to hear more often. To present this year's Entrepreneur Award, join me in welcoming the director of NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, Captain Robert L. Crippen. Captain Crippen commanded several shuttle missions. Captain Crippen?
Thank you very much. What a great event. It's my pleasure to be here tonight, standing in for the Administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Dan Golden. Dan wanted to be here tonight, but unfortunately he was called away for a meeting with the director of the Russian Space Agency, Yuri Koptev, where they are working on some of our future missions. As you may know, Dan Golden has made it an important part of every individual in NASA to make opportunities for minority businesses, colleges, and universities. In fact, it is to NASA's advantage to sponsor minority-owned companies from a basic business standpoint. Cultural diversity makes an organization richer, more capable, and in the long run, it makes the country stronger. That is NASA's stance. NASA strongly believes in cultural diversity. We just visibly demonstrated that yesterday with the landing of Space Shuttle Discovery at the Kennedy Space Center with NASA astronaut Charlie Bolden, a proud African American, at the controls. And that's why I'm pleased to be able to present tonight the Entrepreneur Award to the President and CEO of TRESP Associates in Alexandria, Virginia. TRESP contracts for information and technology management with many private sector companies such as IBM and Martin Marietta. And many federal agencies hire TRESP for their expertise, including the Department of Energy, Defense, Transportation, the EPA, the Navy, the Army, and I am proud to add NASA. This graduate of Morgan State has built TRESP into one of the largest black-owned companies in America. For her business success and civic efforts, she has received many honors, and tonight we award her one more. Please help me welcome the winner of the 1994 Entrepreneur Award, Lillian Handy.
Good evening. I thank you sincerely for this honor. When an organization such as this one, with a living legacy of supporting and paving the way for a future of parity and opportunity and scientific and technical endeavors, gives this kind of recognition, it is indeed an honor without equal. I congratulate you and my fellow awardees with renewed enthusiasm. Thank you.
We have another presentation to make tonight to a special group of high achievers. To perform those honors, we have Jaime Oaxaca. Mr. Oaxaca had a distinguished 30-year career with the Northrop Corporation. Today, he is the vice chairman of Coronado Communications and has served as the co-chair of the Federal Task Force on Women, Minorities, and the Handicapped in Science and Engineering, and is a current board member of the National Science Board. Please welcome Jaime Oaxaca.
Each year, hundreds of highly accomplished professionals vie for Black Engineer of the Year awards. All are worthy of recognition, but none, we think, more than this group of men and women whose accomplishments place them in the highest ranks of corporate achievers. The special recognition winners were honored this afternoon at the Winners Reunion Luncheon. They are
James Canty, manager of small business programs for Martin Marietta Electronics and Missiles in Orlando, Florida.
Sharita Caesar, Director of Quality and Service for Motorola in Boynton Beach, Florida.
Dana Dunson, a computer engineer with NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland.
Dr. Freeman Rabowski III, President of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Dr. Anthony M. Johnson, a distinguished member of the technical staff at AT&T Bell Laboratories in Holmdel, New Jersey.
W. Mamie Johnson, the Program Administrator for Minority Educational Programs at Martin Marietta Energy Systems in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Dr. Brooke Lakehue, a senior scientist and section manager at Hughes STX Corporation in Lanham, Maryland.
Stephen Albert Lipsey, a mechanical engineering student at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland.
Glenn Curtis Moore, Director of the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization for the Defense Information Systems Agency in Arlington, Virginia.
And Commander Melvin G. Williams, Nuclear Enlisted Program Manager at the Bureau of Naval Personnel in Washington, D.C. Please give them all a round of applause.
Each of these high achievers has shown the kind of dedication to education and career that maintains the minority engineering community nationwide, and by example helps to fill the pipeline with young engineers across the country. They are proof that diversity is the future, and they deserve our support and thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest with us here tonight. Please welcome the Secretary of the United States Department of Energy, Hazel O'Leary.
Thank you. How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you. I came to be a part of this evening because I felt it was very important to honor my colleague, Bill Wiley, who will be recognized later. But when I saw the young people in the room and understood clearly that the recognition of so many engineers and scientists really is about mentoring these young people, that I thought I would like to speak especially to them. So Bill, with your permission, I'd like to do that tonight. I've had the honor and pleasure of meeting several young people today. I met some young women from the Granville Academy in Cleveland and heard one of them complain that she was never wearing high-heel shoes again. I met Tiffany and Petey, son and daughter of our awardee, Ms. Wesley. I know that there's a woman whose name is Sabrina McMillan who works at Atlantic City Electric, who has a very young daughter who's not in the room but in the city. And so it occurred to me that it was the young people who needed a moment of clear focus. And the focus for them is not the focus that has been for so many of us who have forged the way and those who will come later. But it's really about the young people. And it's about focusing these young people on not only the possible, the probable. For them, it is probable. For them, it is more than possible. For them, it is necessary. It's necessary for big business and big government, not because it's morally correct to diversify, not because the law requires it, but because it makes good business sense. So what is the message for a group of young people who are already on the right course? They got it better than I did. I'm a lawyer. What a terrible thing to be. To understand that today, at this generation, into the 20th century, it's the science and the technology. And if it's not the degree, it's the thinking like one. The observing, the learning from example, and applying what you've learned to a new set of circumstance. So what message to these youngsters who already got it and will likely get it? I believe the message is to ask from each of you a little bit more. A little more in terms of leadership, for you will be leaders. A little more in terms of courage, a little more in terms of risk-taking. Stepping in, seeing how things are, and deciding to change it just a bit. It's not about not being a part of the system. It's about being a stronger, better part of the system. To you young people who are in the room, those of you who are from the colleges and universities and the high school students who already are clearly on the road, are academically excellent, there's just one thing I would ask from you. And that is the clear understanding that you're our future. And 20 years ago, when someone might have, well, let's be real, 40 years ago, when someone might have been talking to me, it would have been about being excellent and studying and learning and understanding that it's important to have the hunger for knowledge that's like a dry sponge that has to be dripped on almost every day. That's how hungry you have to be for it. But what I'd ask of each of you is a sense in the dignity and who you are, and to take this special and unique knowledge and skill you have and balance it with some humanity, sense of self, and most importantly, the message to give back, to reach back and give it to someone else. You kids are on the road. Make certain you take someone with you. Thank you.
Our musical guest for tonight has achieved worldwide recognition as a flautist. She has performed with entertainers such as Roberta Flack, Peabo Bryson, and Quincy Jones, just to name a few. Her diversity as a musician, composer, and entertainer is truly magnified in her latest album, Love Is. Nominated for a Grammy Award, please welcome Miss Sherry Winston.
Yes. You know, earlier we recognized the previous Black Engineer of the Year award winners, and I've been told that we have some nominees from this year and from previous years in the audience as well, so I'd like to have them stand so we can recognize their accomplishment. Would you please stand? The nominees. There they are. From the beginning, the Council of Engineering Deans of the historical black colleges and universities has been an important partner in these conferences.
The Dean's interest is not accidental. Historically black colleges and universities graduate nearly a third of all black engineers. To present the Dean's Award, here is one of the Council's members, Dr. Thomas Henderson, Dean of the School of Engineering at Southern University.
Of all participants in these conferences, we engineering deans understand best how education enriches people's lives, how it prepares people to participate in our nation's technical growth, and so often we see how education convinces people of the value of giving something back to the community. As manager of device operations for Abbott Laboratories, a worldwide leader in healthcare products, Marlo Hicks is responsible for directing human, equipment, and financial resources for production operations. But clearly, Hicks sees the big picture. We too, we engineering deans also see.
Recognizing a pressing need, Hicks was instrumental in organizing Abbott Lab's role in a program to increase minority participation in engineering education. He helped the company build partnerships between Fortune 500 companies and historically black colleges. Because of his vision and efforts, we will all benefit for years to come. Please welcome Marlo Hicks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There are three people I'd like to thank for this award tonight. First, I'd like to thank Dan Struble, our Corporate Vice President of Engineering, for his support in trying to increase the number of minorities in engineering. I'd also like to thank Dr. Jackson Jean Swopes, our Manager of College Relations, for trying to implement all these initiatives. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my wife, Juliana, for giving me the courage to do things better and always trying to do things right. Thank you very much.
We've been discussing America's workplace diversity tonight, trying to describe what the future will be. One thing is certain, companies will need to market their products and services to a wider and more diverse population, and that will force them to think and work in different ways, as it already has for the more successful companies.
Recent studies in group dynamics show that uniform groups of people, all white men, for example, reach conclusions in a certain way when they come together to solve business problems. Those solutions may be, and have been, sufficient for certain problems, adequate for certain times.
Those studies also show that diverse groups reach different conclusions. Mixed groups work from a wider set of potential solutions because they bring different backgrounds to the table. They bring new ideas, fresh ideas, what Xerox's diversity statement calls borderless creativity. In fact, diversity broadens business solutions, making them more likely to be successful in a diverse culture. And since we are competing with the world for world markets, we need to explore all the possible solutions we can find in our workforce.
Examples appear on this stage every year. Mark Hanna is a principal scientist at the high-flying Silicon Graphics. Errol Davis is taking Wisconsin Power and Light to new heights in the fast-changing utility field. Laney Smoot is Bellcor's official in charge of the Collaboratory, a group of 16 companies working out how computers will talk to each other on the information superhighway. Wilbert Copeland is the chief engineer designing Hughes Aircraft's world-class satellites. Many more come to mind, but the point is clear. Diversity is the future.
One more example of valuing diversity is Motorola, one of the world's leaders in communications. Not only does it have state-of-the-art programs in place to build its minority workforce, it also has won the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award in 1988. Clearly, the values of quality and diversity go hand in hand with corporate success. Each year, we recognize one outstanding individual whose qualifications fall outside the bounds of the other categories, but whose achievements make him or her a highly valued member of our team.
This year's President's Award will be presented by Alfonso Hall, who is an executive on loan to Lehigh University from General Motors Corporation, to the Agile Manufacturing Enterprise Forum at the Iacocca Institute. Please welcome Alfonso Hall.
Thank you. As Vehicle Sets Integration Manager at General Motors Vehicle Launch Center in Warren, Michigan, Albert Ware works to make sure that the GM vehicles we buy have the best technological component sets. The Vehicle Sets Manager has also made it his business to help Detroit area youngsters learn about the benefits of pursuing careers in technical fields.
And General Motors has used his enthusiasm wisely. When GM was selected in 1988 by the Society of Automotive Engineers to conduct the first pre-engineering education program for Detroit's middle schools, they tapped Ware to serve as its first director.
The program brings groups of students to the General Motors Tech Center so they see firsthand where their math and science studies can lead. Please help me welcome my friend, my colleague, my partner, Albert Ware. I said my partner.
I appreciate the nominating committee selecting me for this immense honor. I am grateful to a lot of people who have helped me along the way. My wife, Wendy, my mother, and my family, colleagues at General Motors, and the wonderful community members of DAPSEP in Detroit. Thank you.
Earlier, we met two young engineers whose exceptional accomplishments promise to further America's superiority in technology.
Now we come to the two awards for long-term dedication and accomplishment, outstanding technical contribution. We award one in government and one in industry. The industry award this year is given to a research engineer who has proven over a lifetime his commitment to technical excellence.
And to present the award, please welcome the Vice President and General Manager of Government Information Services at TRW Systems Integration Group, Mr. Jack M. Dreyfus.
Thank you. As a senior research engineer for General Electric in Schenectady, New York, Dr. Marshall G. Jones has advanced our knowledge in laser material processing. With 24 patents and scores of publications to his credit, Dr. Jones researched the use of lasers for material removal, welding, and heat treating.
Currently, Dr. Jones is working on laser fiber optic integration for factory automation and processing for electronic packaging. Jones headed the research team that developed the breakthrough in laser processing technology, which allows industrial robots to cut, weld, and drill with previously unmatched precision and dexterity. Let's welcome Dr. Marshall Jones, winner of the Outstanding Technical Contribution in Industry Award. Dr. Jones.
Oh, thank you. At this moment, I feel humble because I truly feel that I am an ordinary man who works hard at his craft of engineering, a craft I love, really expecting nothing in return. My only hope is that this honor will make a difference for young people today and the future. Thanks goes to Union College's chapter of the National Society of Black Engineers, my family, and the selection committee for selecting me for this prestigious award. Thank you.
Government service has long been the one sector of American society where African Americans could prove their value as team members and build successful careers. The military services have been a prime recipient of their talents.
Tonight we have two awards for government service. We will announce the Professional Achievement Award in several minutes, but right now, to present the award for Outstanding Technical Contribution in Government, please welcome Dr. Douglas E. Olison, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Battelle Memorial Institute.
Thank you. A research civil engineer at the U.S. Army Waterways Experiment Station in Vicksburg, Mississippi, Paul Gilbert, has built a solid record of achievement in their Geotechnical Laboratory's Soil and Rock Mechanics Division. His work developing quick, accurate, and reliable methods of determining the water content of a wide variety of soils has led to safer construction techniques for large-scale construction and earthworks.
Among other honors, Gilbert's extensive knowledge of soil testing equipment led him to be chosen to visit the Soviet Union to observe and evaluate the state of Soviet geotechnical centrifuge technology.
Please help me welcome Paul Gilbert.
This award is a great incentive to continue research that makes meaningful contributions to government technology. I thank Career Communications for selecting me. I thank my laboratory and associates who have supported me. This is a special moment and one that I and my family will always treasure. Thank you very much.
For the second let's begin that again. For the second government award, Professional Achievement, we honor tonight someone whose contributions go far beyond mere achievement. To present that award, please welcome Major General Ernest J. Harrell, Commander and Division Engineer of the North Pacific Division of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. General Harrell is familiar with this conference. He won the Black Engineer of the Year Award for affirmative action in 1990. Ladies and gentlemen, General Harrell.
As the Gulf War proved, the U.S. has by far the most advanced military equipment in the world. One of the people working to maintain that edge is the Deputy Chief of Staff for Research, Development, and Engineering in the U.S. Army's Materiel Command, Major General Thomas Prather. We'd like to recognize that we also have in attendance tonight his former boss only by one day, because General, four-star General Jimmy D. Ross retired yesterday, and I think he's at table 62. Will you stand, sir?
General Prather is responsible for making sure the Army acquires the highest level equipment. Through his staff, General Prather manages more than 13,000 scientists and engineers around the world, developing weapons and material systems with a combined budget of more than $4 billion.
The broad scope of General Prather's service has included serving as the program director for the Army's Small Business Innovation Research Program and the Small Business Technology Transfer Research Program. Please help me welcome Major General Thomas Prather.
Thank you. I am deeply honored and appreciative of this award and want to thank those who helped make this possible. Your confidence in me and the work that we're doing is very challenging and encouraging. Encouragement is a push forward, and the challenge is a pull to better performance. Thank you very much.
Each year, the competition for professional achievement in industry grows stronger as more superb achievers reach higher and higher levels in corporate America. Tonight, we present awards to two of our finest. To present the first award is Lieutenant General Alonzo E. Short, Director of the Defense Information Systems Agency and Manager of the National Communications System. General Short.
Thank you and good evening. As Vice President of the Information and Telecommunications Systems for IBM in Somers, New York, Gerald Prothero is one of the nation's top black business executives in America. He runs the organization for that computer giant that provides worldwide services for well over 350,000 users. He provides the capabilities that provides communications, computing in an outstanding manner throughout the United States. This Howard graduate is now a member of the Board of Trustees at that university, and he's also a member of the board for VASA and the National Technological University. His achievements and extensive community involvement stand as standards and inspirations for all of us. Please help me welcome Mr. Gerald Prothro.
I am extremely honored to have been selected to receive this prestigious award. But you know, the 21st century workforce will be heavily comprised of what I would consider to be new craftsmen. These new craftsmen, such as computer scientists, material scientists, electronic engineers, and genetic engineers, just to name a few, will become the wave of the future. And I'd like to urge you, the students, to develop a view and a vision of the future, one that is commensurate with an insatiable appetite for new information and knowledge, which would be the foundation and the key to our continued economic advancement. Thank you, and congratulations to all of you.
Every year, we see the ranks of black senior executives growing larger and stronger. To present the next award, please welcome the Senior Vice President and Assistant General Manager of the Semiconductor Product Sector of Motorola, Dr. Murray A. Goldman.
Thank you. Our second winner of the Award for Professional Achievement in Industry is Dr. Barry Johnson, Vice President and Director of Core Technologies at Motorola in Tempe, Arizona. Dr. Johnson leads a high-powered organization of 250 people. More than half are engineers and scientists, and roughly 60 hold doctorates. That is the principal research group responsible for developing a broad spectrum of key technologies in semiconductor devices and circuits for telecommunications and data processing.
With a doctorate in metallurgical engineering and material science from Carnegie Mellon, Johnson holds several patents, has published dozens of papers, has taught as a tenured professor at the University of Arizona, and even co-founded his own company in the early 1980s.
He is helping Motorola maintain our world-class reputation in communications. Please help me welcome Dr. Barry Johnson.
Thank you very much. To be honored for my professional achievements is gratifying, but to have it conferred by my people is especially meaningful. I'd like to thank everyone responsible for my receiving this award, particularly Motorola, my family, and my mother, who's 82 years old, who's with us tonight, who's always She has always been my inspiration and my greatest role model. Thank you.
Well, we've heard a lot of facts and figures tonight, and even for engineers, too many numbers can be confusing. But what's really important to remember is that the demographic changes we have discussed are inevitable.
It is inevitable. It is, we'll try this again. It is inevitable that our culture will become more Black, more Hispanic, and more Asian.
It is inevitable that the makeup of America's workforce will become more female and Black and Hispanic and Asian, too.
And we will be an increasingly diverse culture for the foreseeable future. That is inevitable. What is not inevitable is that our children will be prepared for the jobs of the future. We've used that word a lot tonight, haven't we? When we leave here tonight, each of us must be dedicated to this cause.
We must be dedicated that preparation is our only path.
Preparation isn't just education, though education is the lion's share. Good preparation is also good health, good attitude, and good spirit.
We've met some extraordinary people tonight. The very fact that they've made it in a tough world might seem to be a sign that programs to help America's less privileged children are no longer necessary. Certainly, we hear calls from some quarters to save money by doing away with this program and that agency.
But companies nationwide realize that this is short-sighted. They look into the future and perceive exactly what we've been discussing here tonight. They know firsthand the importance of good preparation, and more every day are establishing and funding programs to help our children.
One of the leaders of this trend is Mobile Corporation, a prime sponsor of this conference from its second year. Through their Mobile Academy, their Critical Thinking About Critical Issues program, their support of programs like Operation Breakthrough in Beaumont, Texas, the South Jersey Summer Institute, Expanding Visions in Fairfax, Virginia, and other programs like it.
As well as their many scholarships and recruitment programs at historically Black colleges and universities, they signal their strong belief in preparation.
And now to introduce our overall winner, the Black Engineer of the Year. Let's welcome Tom DeLoach, Executive Vice President, Marketing and Refining, in charge of international operations for Mobil Oil Corporation. Please, Mr. Thomas C. DeLoach.
Thanks, Al, and good evening. It's a pleasure to be with some of the nation's finest engineers tonight. It reminds me of my early days as a chemical engineer and how engineering education could lay the foundation for an entire life. A technical education just isn't learning math and science skills. It's learning how to think, how to solve problems and use logic as tools for success. And isn't it that drive for success the real reason we're here tonight? Because we all want to see even more success stories in every classroom and workplace in America. That's why Mobil has co-hosted this event for 7 years. Our future depends on people who can help master the next generation of global technology. That's vitally important to our society. So we're doing our part to help create classrooms where every child is urged to think critically. And we're working to create a marketplace and a workplace where the best analytical thinkers succeed for the brilliance of their ideas, not the color of their skin. Tonight's winners certainly prove that brilliance is blind to race and gender. They prove that smart organizations have learned to view diversity as a strength. Searching for the best and the brightest led Battelle to hire our next winner nearly 30 years ago. Tonight's Black engineer wears 2 hats. He's Senior Vice President of Battelle Memorial Institute in Richland, Washington, and he's Director of Battelle's Pacific Northwest region. He joined Battelle as a research scientist in 1965 after receiving his doctorate in bacteriology from Washington State University. 4 years after joining Battelle's biology department, he was named manager of cellular and molecular biology section. He became associate manager, then manager of the biology department, supervising more than 200 scientists. In 1979, he became director of research, and in 1984, director of Battelle's Pacific Northwest Division. At the same time, he directed the Pacific Northwest Laboratory, which Battelle operates for the United States Department of Energy. Today, our winner directs a staff of more than 4,400 scientists, engineers, technicians, and support staff, and has an operating budget of more than $500 million. Under his direction, the Pacific Northwest Laboratory has established dynamic programs in science and applied technology that will keep Battelle on the leading edge of molecular science, environmental restoration, waste management, and global climate changes. The laboratory studies the effects of contaminants on the environment at the molecular level and works on methods to remediate pollution at hazardous waste sites. Along with his busy career, he's active in many educational and professional organizations. He is president of the Washington State University Board of Regents and a member of the Government University Industry Research Roundtable, part of the National Academies of Sciences and Engineering. It was his reputation as a civic leader and strategic thinker that got him invited to join President Clinton's economic conference in Little Rock, Arkansas. Battelle has a video that will tell you even more about him.
Education has been a way out for me, and it's a way out for everybody.
It's appropriate that you meet Bill Wiley for the first time on a college campus. Education converted him from a football player to a scientist, from a young man who fought the inhumanity of racism to a visionary leader who's respected by men and women of all colors. And education has led him here to Washington State University, where he's not just any graduate, he's the president of the Board of Regents. His other key seat is the director's chair at Battelle's Pacific Northwest Laboratory, a research organization that's leading the way in developing the technologies we will need in the 21st century. He's a man who's devoted his life to making a difference, and he's touched thousands of other lives along the way. Bill Wiley was born during the Depression and grew up in Oxford, Mississippi in a painfully segregated society. But he was surrounded by a strong family and other role models who taught him, among other things, the value of an education.
I've been very lucky in the sense that I've had people who were all showing me that there is a pathway other than the path of least resistance. Many of them said to me was, the only thing you got to do, Bill Wiley, is to stand tall, stay black, and speak loudly.
It was at Tougaloo College that Bill honed one love, science, and discovered another, his future wife, Gus.
My wife has had a tremendous influence on me. I think it's very helpful to have someone who just strives for perfection herself and tries to instill it in me and my daughter.
I have a tendency to bring him home, you know, let him know where he came from, and I don't ever let him forget, you know, how we grew and where he came from and where he's going.
The reason we have succeeded is because we never deviated from the course.
Bill joined Battelle as a research scientist in 1965 after earning his PhD from Washington State University. From there, it was a steady rise to the top. He was named director of the Pacific Northwest Laboratory in 1984. Under his guidance, this Department of Energy laboratory is leading the nation in the development of the environmental, energy, health, computer, and other technologies that are so vital to the future.
He has maintained a vision in the face of a lot of doubters and a lot of objections, and set us on a course in this laboratory that has really positioned us for major growth.
He's not afraid to take risks, and he believes in the people that he has working for him.
He cares, he's committed, he gets it done.
He is a molecular biologist by trade. He's always seen that in order to fix things, health problems, environmental problems, that you have to start at that level and fix them. It was his vision to start the Environmental Molecular Sciences Laboratory.
That is going to be an opportunity to make huge contributions to society and to the competitiveness of this country.
He is right on the verge of doing some of those things that he's worked his whole life for, and he's close, maybe a molecule away.
I am really gratified and moved and motivated by the field of making a contribution.
He leads by example. He feels that if he can make the community a better place in which to live, then that's what he does, and that's what drives him.
If we could duplicate Bill Wiley's in every company we have in the Tri-Cities, we would be a leading community and throughout the United States.
Every board of directors, everything you can name in the Northwest now has to have Bill Wiley to succeed.
I feel real lucky as governor of the state of Washington to have him living in our state, and because of all the tremendous contributions he makes to our state.
I don't think that there's anything that I get any more enjoyment out of than the opportunity to participate in the re-engineering of education in the state and higher education in particular.
Bill Wiley, without any doubt, is one of our most successful alums. Not only because what he has done as a professional, but what he's done as an individual. And to have a board member that's in love with education, knows the institution, has a track record of wanting to make sure the institution goes ahead, it's called nirvana.
I've come to know a man who's a man of great integrity. He's a man, I say, of tremendous intelligence, but he never bludgeons people. There's a lot of humility in the man. The combination of great intelligence and virtue, if you wish.
I am proud of Bill, and I'm proud of being on Bill's team.
Bill is exemplary.
He's just an outstanding individual for our young people to emulate.
He focuses very much on people.
He has really made a difference.
Probably the most human being I've ever known.
A committed person that has unusual abilities and has been willing to use those unusual abilities for the betterment of everyone in our country, frankly, in our world.
To me, the message of his life is dream your dream, paint your vision, and don't ever give up.
He doesn't have time to sit back and say, I've done it all. And so there's always a next step in Wiley's life. There's always a next step.
If you start out with the idea of making a contribution, everything else will fall in place.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present the 1994 Black Engineer of the Year, Dr. William R. Wiley.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. I am deeply honored to receive this award. And the reason for that is that out there, I see the future. I see the future in those students who are here tonight, and in the students who will gain something by watching you grow and watching what I have worked for all of my life. Finally, I want to thank a lot of people. I want to thank Battelle and the CEO of Battelle, whom I worked for 20 years. And I want to thank my friends and many of my colleagues who are here tonight. I want to thank the Secretary of the Department of Energy and all of her colleagues who are here tonight. And final of all the finals is I want to acknowledge the partnership of my daughter and my wife. It's been great. We have been really partners. Thank you.
Indeed. Well, thank all of you. And for all of you with tickets to the winner's reception, please head over to the Sheraton Inner Harbor Hotel at 300 South Charles Street. And for the rest of you, be sure to stay right here for a cabaret concert that follows immediately. Tonight's entertainment is the exciting group Me to You. We thank you all for coming, and remember, America's increasing diversity means we need to inspire all the people we can to achieve, accomplish, and for excellence in accomplishment. When you come back next year, bring some others with you, will you? They'll join us in our growing community. I want you please thank two lovely ladies whom I've been privileged to grace the stage with this evening. Miss Mae Jemison and Angela Sibling. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next year. Good night.